Hey, welcome to What We Thought. Today, it's the time of year. My garden out back is everything's starting to produce really well and ripening on the vine. So I'm going to be freeze drying some Roma tomatoes. I've got a half a dozen or more of Roma tomatoes. Tomatoes do great in the freeze dryer. I picked, my cucumber plants are going crazy. I got like 7 or 8 of them, and so I'm gonna slice up some cucumbers. Now I've done cucumbers before, and what I've found is they work great in cucumber water. Gives you the great cucumber flavor. They don't they're not like a sponge. They don't rehydrate to the size where you slice them. But I left the skin on, and I drank my cucumber water, and I thought, well, I'm gonna try this soggy cucumber, and I ate it, and the skin was kind of tough. So for today's cucumbers, I'm going to try peeling the cucumber and then freeze drying them without the peel. Just so if I do put it in the cucumber water, if I want to nibble one down, I can. And then I've got at least 10 cantaloupe that are probably all going to come ripe at the same time. But luckily, I've got 2 of them that came ripe. Here's one of them, and then this one here, the bugs got to one end of them, but I salvaged the majority of it. And here they are. I cut them up, and boy, they are ripe. They are delicious. They're sweet. I freeze-dried some, they're called Hami melons, which are like a cucumber, but they're big yellow. And I still have some of those left in the bowl. They're not super ripe, but they're okay. But they're really, really good freeze-dried. I already freeze-dried some. And like I had mentioned in another video, once the water is removed, the flavor is enhanced quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and freeze-dry the rest of these. I'm going to freeze-dry my cantaloupe. I can't wait for these because these are already nice and sweet and ripe. So, and if I have room, I got crooknecks that are growing. This one here got a little carried away. So I think I'm going to try freeze drying some crookneck squash and see how that turns out. And yeah, it's kind of an experimental day on garden vegetables. And this is one of the reasons why I really wanted to get this freeze dryer, because I've got fruit trees. I've got, lots of stuff that I'm growing out there, and I don't like to let any of it just go to waste. So if I can freeze dry it and preserve it, even better. All right, so I'm not going to bore you with the cutting up of all this. I'm going to get it cut up. I'll see what fits on my trays, and I'll see you out at the freeze dryer. All right, I mentioned in my video of why I bought and loved this Harvest Right freeze dryer that it didn't have the extra dry time setting. And I think it's because I just don't know where to look. Still haven't named it. If you got any names for my freeze dryer, drop it in the comments. Okay, when it's preparing to freeze, up here on this More button, in batch options, here's the extra dry time. I knew it'd be in here somewhere. So I am going to do extra dry time on here on these veggies. I'm going to go I'm just going to set it to an extra 20 hours. I'll probably go 12 hours over, but I'm going to set it an extra 20 just to be on the safe side. All right. I knew that extra dry time was in. All right, I already closed the drain valve. I need to load the trays up. And the first tray, I've got, this is the homegrown cantaloupe with a little bit of yellow squash in there to let me know that this is the homegrown cantaloupe. The next shelf is going to be the Hami melon. I've got cucumbers in there with that one, and that'll help tell me which one's which. This one's from the store-bought. The Hami melon's not quite as orange as the homegrown cantaloupe. But those are with the squash, with the cucumber. Looky here, I got a whole full tray of Roma tomatoes ripened on the vine from the garden. Can't wait for those. And then I've got a tray with some more cucumbers and some more yellow squash. And this is why you need more than one freeze dryer, or a bigger one. I got this little one. It doesn't hold a ton, but it holds enough, and we'll just have to do more batches. Okay, so now all I have to do is hit continue on here, and it's gonna do its freezing. It's gonna freeze for an extra 3 hours. So the extra 3 hours freeze time usually runs close to 8 to 10 hours of freezing before it starts drying. And then I added an extra 20 hours of dry time. So these will take a little while. I'll check them periodically. Like I'll check them when the machine says they're done, and then probably just let them continue. But anyway, by adding the extra 20 hours, it guarantees that you're going to be dry. You don't have to weigh them first, put them in, weigh them again, see if they lost weight, if there was more moisture in them. So this way, it's just being lazy. Anyway, hey, system name. If you got, I'm kind of leaning towards Mr. Freeze. My buddy Scruggs, Cooking with Scruggs, suggested Mr. Freeze. I like that one. I've got a couple others that I like. So if you have any names for my freeze dryer, drop them in the comments below, and one of these days I'll pick one. All right, I will see you when these are done. All right, I think our veggies are done. They've been going, I put it on 20 hours of extra dry time, but it's been about almost 19 hours. It's been about 19 hours, so I think it's probably done. I just did it for the extra dryness and to give me time to have time to do this. So in the batch, open my valve, confirm. Okay, let's give them a look. All right, we have our little bit of yellow crookneck squash and cantaloupe. Those look nice and dry. This is the Hami melon and the cucumbers without the skin on them. Boy, they're feather light. Okay, we got our Roma tomatoes. Oh boy, those are definitely dry. Okay, and the last tray is cucumbers and squash. All right, I'm gonna go put these in a jar. I'll save one, couple of each, and we'll do a taste test. Be right back. All right, so here's my garden veggies put in a jar. The only one not out of the garden is the Hami melon. That one I bought at Costco because it's a big yellow melon. I thought it looked cool. Wasn't as sweet as I thought it was going to be, but it was still pretty good. So yeah, kind of a test with the yellow crookneck. That's why it's such a small jar. And then the cucumbers as well. I skinned them to see if those work any better. And then I got the tomatoes and the cantaloupe. So here we are. All right, there is the yellow crookneck squash, light as a feather. Wow, better than I anticipated. All the flavors there. The water's gone, but the flavor is intensified. I'm going to be able to throw these into soups or whatever I want. Roma tomatoes. All right, yeah, so I did the regular cycle. I did 3 hours of extra freeze time because I didn't pre-freeze, and then I did 20 hours of extra dry time, make sure they're dry, and I've been working a lot, so I got home. Still a little bit over an hour left, so worked out great. Roma tomatoes. Honestly, I didn't think that the tomatoes were going to be so darn good. Man, those are good. Okay, the Hami melon, I've already had the Hami melon. I think I did that in another video. But the Hami melon, that's what I had left over. Thought I'd throw it in the tray. Much sweeter, freeze-dried. Okay, cucumbers. I think I talked about the cucumbers. I left the skin off the last batch that I did on the last batch that I did, and the skin when it rehydrated was still kind of tough. So I thought I would take the skin off of these cucumbers and then we'd put them in the jar, or I mean, you can eat them as chips, but if you put them in your water for cucumber water, it definitely flavors up the water. Absolutely. But this way, I'll be able to pull it out of the water and just munch on it. Do you hear that crunch? Just like eating a cucumber potato chip. It's so good. Excellent. And again, cucumbers, squash, tomatoes, And now the cantaloupe especially, because I got a lot of cantaloupe growing. But these are out of my garden. And being able to freeze dry them is going to really help me preserve them for later use. One of the reasons. One of the several reasons why I bought that. All right, cantaloupe from the garden. It looks like a piece of styrofoam. All right, here we go. It just melts in your mouth. And it is so good. As good as when it's fresh, and actually probably a little better since the water's out of it, but I'll tell you what, these aren't going to last long. I got to hide these from Elizabeth. The smell. All right, there you go. Straight from our backyard, from the garden. Cucumbers, yellow crookneck, Roma tomatoes, and cantaloupe, and they all taste fantastic. All right, if you've got a garden, or if somebody wants to give you fruit and vegetables from their house, from their gardens, take it if you have a freeze dryer, or get you one, and you won't be sorry. I've been freeze drying everything, and definitely not disappointed in my purchase. All right, thanks for checking out what we thought. That's what I thought about all these garden vegetables. I hope you hit the like and subscribe so that I can be with you next week. Have a great day.